All right, let's talk about a financial idea that's been around for centuries but feels surprisingly modern. It's called Mudharabah, and it's a really elegant solution to a problem that a lot of people face.
You know the situation, right? Maybe you've got this brilliant, game-changing idea, but your bank account is empty. Or maybe it's the other way around. You've got the capital to invest, but you just don't have the time or the specific know-how to build something with it. It's a classic gap. So, how do you bridge it? Well, what if we stopped thinking about it as a loan? What if we framed it as a genuine partnership instead? That is exactly the question Mudharabah was designed to answer. So let's get into it. At its very core, Mudharabah is all about bringing two essential things together: money and skill. So you've got two key players in this partnership. On one side, you have the Shahibul Maal. Think of them as the investor, the one who provides 100% of the money. On the other side, you have the Mudarib. This is the entrepreneur, the expert, the manager who brings the skills and the hard work. The roles are totally separate. One brings the cash, the other brings the action. So really, when you boil it all down, it's that simple. It's a powerful fusion of one person's capital with another person's expertise. That's the whole idea in a nutshell. But here's the thing. To really get what Mudarabah is about, you have to understand that it's way more than just a business contract. It's built on some really deep historical and spiritual foundations. And this isn't some newfangled idea, not at all. This has been tested by time for centuries. It was a common way for Arab merchants to do business in the caravan trades long before the rise of Islam. Actually, one of the most well-known examples is the business partnership between the Prophet Muhammad, who acted as the manager or Mudarib, and his future wife Khadija, who was the capital provider. Later, this very practice was formalized and became a pillar of Islamic economics. And the spiritual basis for it, the dalil, comes from verses just like this one from the Quran. And what's so fascinating here is that traveling for business, seeking out a living, is mentioned right alongside fighting for a noble cause. This elevates the whole act of commerce, giving it real importance and virtue. And all of this leads to the absolute bedrock of the entire agreement, a concept called Amana, which means trust. The investor is literally entrusting their capital to the manager. This means that if the business loses money, the manager isn't held financially responsible unless it can be proven they were negligent or broke the rules. It's fundamentally a relationship built on integrity. Okay, so if it's all about trust, you might be asking, what keeps everyone honest? Well, there are some very clear rules that make this partnership work fairly for everyone. Let's break down the mechanics. When it comes to sharing profits, the rules are crystal clear. First, and this is the big one, the split is always based on a ratio you agree on beforehand, like 60-40 or 50-50. It has to be a percentage, never a fixed dollar amount. You can't promise someone a guaranteed $1,000. Also, and this is key, profits only get shared out after the investor's original capital is paid back. That protects the initial investment. But here it is, the million-dollar question, right? What happens when things go wrong? The answer to this is what really truly sets Mudharabah apart from pretty much any other financial deal you can think of. And check out this comparison, because it shows you everything you need to know. In a Mudharabah partnership, if the business has a loss and it's not due to misconduct, the investor, the Shahibul Maal, is the one who bears that financial loss. The manager, well, they lose all their time, their effort, their sweat. Their potential payday is gone. Now compare that to a standard loan. The borrower takes on 100% of the risk and still has to pay back the loan plus interest, even if the business fails. Mudharabah genuinely shares the risk. It doesn't just shove it all onto the person doing the work. It's a total flip of the script. All right, enough theory. Let's make this real. How does this thing actually look when it's out in the wild? Well, first off, the contract is pretty flexible. You can have an unrestricted Mudharabah, where the manager basically has total freedom to invest the capital however they think is best. Or you can have a restricted one, where the investor lays down specific ground rules, like you can only invest this money in renewable energy projects in North America. So let's run some simple numbers. Step 1. The investor puts in $100,000. Step 2. They agree to split any profits 40-60. 40% for the investor, 60% for the manager. Step 3. The business does well. It makes a net profit of $20,000. Okay, what happens next? First, the investor gets their original $100,000 back. Then, they get their 40% share of the profits, which is $8,000. And the manager? For all that hard work, they get the other 60%, which comes out to $12,000. Simple as that. And this chart, it just says it all, doesn't it? This isn't one person paying another. It's two people sharing the success that they created together. The size of your slice of the pie depends entirely on how big you made the pie in the first place. And please don't think this is just some historical artifact. No way. This exact model is a foundational tool in modern Islamic finance today. It's used for everything, from funding a single entrepreneur's startup to structuring massive global Islamic investment funds you see on the market right now. Okay, so an ancient financial model, still in use. Why should you care? Why does this actually matter in our world today? It all boils down to a few really powerful ideas. First, it's all about shared risk and shared reward, which is a huge shift away from a system built on debt. It actively encourages entrepreneurship by building that direct bridge between ideas and capital. It has this ethical core that promotes fairness. But maybe the most important thing is the economic justice of it all. The person with the money doesn't get a guaranteed payout while the person doing all the work takes all the risk. They succeed together or they fail together. It's a true partnership. And that really leaves us with something to think about. In an economic world that is so completely built on debt, on transferring risk from one party to another, this ancient model offers a pretty radical alternative. It makes you wonder, what if the best way to create value isn't through leverage, but through a genuine partnership built on trust?